All right, you guys, today we are going to be doing all things quinoa, okay? I just made 7 cups of quinoa and you are too, and it's going to help you provide 3 different staples that we'll get into that are gonna help you stay on track this entire week with good quinoa, okay? Quinoa can be bought in the frozen section if you really wanna make it super simple. I used here, as you can tell, I just used 2 cups of the dry quinoa and it yielded 7 cups of quinoa that we're gonna use today. I love quinoa. It's very high in protein. It's gluten-free, so it resolves a lot of issues for people that can't eat gluten. It lowers inflammation in the body because it's got anti-inflammatory phytonutrients in it. It's got omega-3s. It's got great fiber. It's got so many properties within it that are creating more and more reason for our family, at least, to be using quinoa more often than not. For Ultimate Portion Fix, it is a yellow container. For 2B Mindset Girls, it is a fiber-filled carbohydrate, an FFC, okay? So we're starting with 7 cups of quinoa, and here's what we're going to do today. We are going to use 2.5 cups for a spinach, tomato, quinoa, egg casserole that is going to serve for breakfast for 5 days, at least, okay? We are also, while we're at it, we're going to add 1/4 cup of quinoa to 4 mason jar salads. I've already made the dressing ahead of time. We are going to use another 2.5 cups for dinner, which is going to be turkey and quinoa stuffed peppers. And that leaves me with 1 cup, if I've done my math right, that leaves me with 1 cup of quinoa that I'm just going to store in the refrigerator. And so if you are a family, if you're married, what have you, I like to have this as a side for some of my kids when they come in from sports, or if they're kind of on the go. Quinoa and a vegetable and a meat is a nice staple. So I just always like to have a little bit of quinoa left over that I can mix and mash with. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so now all of our quinoa is accounted for, okay? I've done 4 mason jar salads, as you guys just saw, 1/4 cup in each of them. Set them aside. You don't have to touch those for a while. In fact, I probably won't touch those again until my kids come home from school, because we're gonna assemble that and that's easy. Then I have my 2.5 cups in a mixing bowl. This is going to be getting ready for dinner tonight, which is going to be the turkey and quinoa stuffed peppers. I actually do half turkey, half bison, because I love bison. Okay, and then this was my original pan that I made all of the quinoa in. What's left now is the 2.5 cups that I'm going to use for my casserole. I'm about to beat the eggs. I'm about to do 3/4 of cottage cheese. I've got my basil I've already cut. I've got my tomatoes that I've already cut. I've got 4 cups of spinach. I've got a pinch of salt. I'm gonna mix it all in here, throw it in the casserole, and be done with it. But before I start assembling this, I'm going to start on my meat. So this is garlic and olive oil. I'm gonna start my turkey and my bison for my stuffed peppers. Let's go. Okay, you have to mix it up all together. Make sure that you get all of the spinach coated with the eggs and the cottage cheese. And it's time to put it in our casserole dish. All right, while the casserole is baking, we have our quinoa. We have our cup of tomato sauce. We have turkey and bison. I did parsley and garlic salt, and now I'm gonna mix it together and get my peppers ready. Hey, so this is done. I've stuffed my peppers. I did 5 of them. I could have done 6, but I ran out. I was eating peppers as I was making it. So I always have a little bit of leftover, which is great because you can always add that as a topper if you want to. Sometimes my kids will eat that with something different. They don't necessarily like the stuffed peppers. I use mozzarella cheese to put on top. You could do no cheese. It tastes just as good. You could do Parmesan, but I measure it out to make sure that I have the right amount of cheese. And once I get done doing the rest of these, I can go ahead and bake these right as my egg casserole is coming out. All right, you guys, I sort of loosely assembled these as my day went on and based on what I had in the fridge and what I was prepping. So you can see we have our dressing down here plus the quinoa. I had cabbage, zucchini, tomato, scallions, cucumber, leftover ground bison, and spinach on top. I will probably add a cheese. But you can see it was just really kind of easy to throw it all together, stuff it on top. These will store in the refrigerator for up to 4 days. All right, you guys, that's a wrap. So we ended up using half of this, which gave us all of the quinoa for all of the things. Okay, let's start with breakfast. This casserole dish is actually enough quinoa, egg, tomato, and spinach casserole to last you for 5 breakfasts. This is 1 red, 1 green, 1 yellow container. If you're doing 2B Mindset, you may also have this. If you do 2B Mindset at lunch, maybe add a shake along with it, okay? This is going to probably be at least 2 dinners or 1 dinner and 1 lunch. These stuffed peppers, really, it was a no-brainer because I was already doing all of this quinoa. This is 1 blue, half a yellow, 1 red, 2 greens, okay? And then these were just very easy to assemble based on what I had. So I spent about 40 minutes total, and this is going to save me a ton of time this week. Quick breakfast, quick lunch, quick dinner, and now all I really need to do is fill in the gaps on 2 more dinners and fill in the gaps for my snacks. So it doesn't have to be this huge process. It can be something that's done very easily while you're doing other things around the house. So I hope you enjoy. Bon appetit.